Namaste and welcome. It's Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are going to be exploring the topic of Raja Yoga. So in the previous videos we have covered the other three main yogas, which are Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, the path of love, the path of selfless service and the path of knowledge or wisdom. And today we are speaking about Raja Yoga. Raja means king. It is the royal path. It is the path of meditation. By far my personal favorite path, essentially. Okay, so in this video I'm going to, in a very simple way, explain to you the essence of Raja Yoga. What is the paradigm? How does it lead to realization? And what is expected from us? What do we need to do to actually realize the truth on this path? Okay, this is a two-part video. In the next video, I will be doing a detailed description of the science in this path. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, from the previous philosophy, right, the Jnana Yoga or Vedanta, we saw that the cause of suffering, the reason why we suffer in this world, any kind of suffering, the root cause is the ignorance of our true nature, which simply means that we do not know that we are spirit. We do not live as though we are spirit. In fact, we identify with the body and the mind, and this is why we suffer. Okay, so what Raja Yoga is saying is that, yes, ignorance is there. Ignorance is there, right? It's a natural, the fact that you are embodied, the fact that you are a human being, you have a sense of individuality. You have been given this ego to actually operate in this world. So yes, the ignorance is there. But the reason that the ignorance is there is because your mind is scattered. Because your mind is scattered, you are unable to see the truth. You are unable to experience your true nature, your true self as spirit. So the example that is given is one of a lake that has ripples. The ripples on the lake are like the thoughts in your mind. So if there is a lake that has, a lot of ripples on its surface, then you cannot see yourself in that lake. You cannot see your reflection on the surface of the lake. But if the lake is completely still, then when you look at it, you can easily see your reflection shining back at you. In the same way, when the mind is scattered, when there are too many ripples in the mind, in the form of thoughts, pulling us in every different direction, there's too much clutter. We cannot see ourselves. Like looking into a dusty mirror, you cannot see yourself. But when the mind is completely still, you can see your true self, your true nature. Experience yourself as the spirit and end suffering forever, essentially. So beautiful, right? Beautiful paradigm. All we need to do is still the mind. All we need to do is to still the mind. As if that were so easy. Right? That is, you're probably thinking, okay, well, how do I still my mind? That's the most difficult thing. If you're familiar with the Bhagavad Gita, there is a part where Arjuna is telling Krishna that it would be easier for me to actually control the wind with my arrows. It would be easier for me to hold the wind down with my arrows than it would be to control my mind and hold my thoughts down. Please don't ask me to do this. Right? That's how difficult it is. And Krishna says to him that no, with practice and detachment, It is possible. With continuous practice and detachment, it is possible, essentially. So how do we do this? How do we still the mind? Okay, now the classical text on Raja Yoga is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. You probably heard me mention this so many times. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, essentially, the classical text on Raja Yoga. Patanjali was an ancient sage who did not discover yoga, because yoga has existed since time immemorial, but rather he compiled the entire science of yoga and made it very simple. He gave us an exact step-by-step process of how to control the mind and how to realize our true self and basically live happily, blissfully in this world and attain liberation, essentially. Okay, so this is something that we will be covering in a lot more detail. I'm going to be running a course that is based on this, essentially, that will help you to deal with all your negative emotions, help you to deal with negative people in your life, help you to deal with negative situations in your life and come out victorious, essentially, right? But I want to give you the essence of this, okay? So what I'll explain to you today is, think about this, right? Because this is obviously based on meditation. Ultimately, what is being asked for us to do is to control the mind through meditation. But it's not just that. This is where people are mistaken. This is where people go wrong. It's not just that. So what I mean by this is, let's say you are trying to get six-pack abs, okay? And you go to a trainer. What the trainer will tell you is that, well, one of the key things that you need to start doing is to go to the gym. Learn the right exercises, learn the right technique of those exercises and perform them on a daily or weekly basis, right? But that is not all. In fact, that is only 10% of the work that you need to do. 90% is actually the rest of your life, your lifestyle. What are you eating? What are you putting in your mouth, essentially? What kind of lifestyle are you adopting? You've heard the saying that abs are made in the kitchen, right? So it's not what you do in the gym alone, it's actually what you do outside of the gym, right? And both those combined will get you these six-pack abs. So in the same way, if you want to get a still mind, if you want to have a still mind, you must learn, just like you learn the exercises in the gym, you must learn how to do meditation. You must learn how to do meditation correctly so you don't waste time. Learn the correct technique, essentially, right? This is something I'll be covering in detail in my course. But along with that, it's not just the meditation. It is, again, your entire lifestyle. What are you doing 90% of the time when you're not meditating? So here Patanjali has given us the golden rules, essentially. Secrets, you can say, of the mind and of operating in this world. It's like a manual of operating in this world. It teaches you everything. How to deal with the difficult people in your life. How to deal with the difficult situations in your life. The things that cause us suffering. Anger, anxiety, jealousy, envy, right? Thinking that, oh, we want this, we don't have this, or I don't like my situation right now, I want to get out of it. How can we deal with those and actually, conquer them, come out victorious over them? This is the entire science of Raja Yoga. This is something that is so important. In fact, it should be taught. It should be taught in every school. It should be used by every psychologist. The great sage Patanjali was one of the greatest psychologists that ever lived. Never before has somebody understood the human mind so deeply, so well. The connection of the mind and body, the connection of the mind with every single influence that can come upon it from the external world. And what to do about it, how to become somebody that will be unaffected by anything that goes around, essentially. And when you do this and you practice meditation, we are able essentially to still the mind and free ourselves of suffering right now, but also attain the ultimate goal, which is liberation. So in the next video, I will be covering the 8 limbs of yoga to give you an understanding of, what is this science all about? What is it that is required to do? Okay. And you can start doing it from there. So that is it. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. And that's it. Namaste.